Welcome to another wonderful informational video for Artist by Maya Art Gallery YouTube channel. 10 interesting facts about Vincent van Gogh that you can't believe. One of the most distinguished artists to ever exist, Vincent van Gogh's repute is credited not only to his creative genius but also to personal misfortunes that he endured throughout his life. Contrary to popular knowledge, the Dutch painter was a self-taught artist with a body of work totaling 2,000 artworks. Van Gogh was a difficult personality who struggled with identity and believed his true calling was to preach the gospel. He found his real purpose much later and went on to create his unconventional style with vibrating fusions of form and color. His art was symbolic of he was emotional, imaginative, and dramatic even. Much of his paintings are transparent expressions of his struggle against madness. Van Gogh painted over 30 self-portraits in a span of 3 years, marking him as the most productive self-portraitist of all time. He also had a tendency to paint at a fast pace with great spontaneity and intuition, which is why he was able to average one painting per day in the 70 days leading to his death. Here are some enlightening facts about the life, death, and triumphs of Vincent van Gogh. Number 1. For an individual whose fame would be remembered for all times to come, Vincent van Gogh never found success in his profession as an artist. How unfortunate that despite the noticeable talent in his works, he managed to sell only one painting close to his untimely demise, and that too for a meager amount of money. Number 2. 3 other members of his family were named Vincent. Vincent was named after his paternal grandfather and his older brother, who died at childbirth a year before his own. Vincent's other brother Theo Van Gogh also ended up bestowing his son with the same name. Number 3. This may come as a surprise, but the person responsible for continuing the legacy of Van Gogh was a woman, no other than his own sister-in-law, Johanna Van Gogh-Bonger. She dedicated her life to making sure Vincent's life's work went noticed and valued. She organized exhibitions and collaborated with art dealers, museums, and other artists to publicize his creations. Simply selling them was not an option for her. Number 4. Van Gogh began painting relatively late in his life, at the age of 27. His early paintings are far from the vivid colored pieces we're most familiar with. His depictions were largely along with the themes of poverty and financial hardship and were, therefore, painted on dull and dark color palettes reflective of the harsh realities lived at the time. Number 5. Van Gogh considered becoming a minister like his father at some point in life. He prepped for an entire year for the entrance exam to Amsterdam School of Theology. He was denied acceptance for his blatant refusal to give the Latin part of the exam as he considered the language to be dormant for peasants. Number 6. Before dwelling on art, Van Gogh went to work as a missionary in Belgium's coal mining region. During his time there, he claimed to have a spiritual revelation that inspired him to abandon all worldly belongings and start living in complete poverty. The church with whom he was associated did not find this to be a fitting representation of the body, so they removed him from this position soon after. Number 7. Van Gogh had been battling mental illnesses his whole life, but his state of mind began deteriorating rapidly in the late 1880s. He suffered from manic depression and experienced psychotic episodes and hallucinations. He further neglected his health by drinking heavily and consuming hazardous objects like paints and turpentine. Furthermore, he faced social isolation from fellow painters due to his argumentative nature and a penchant for self-martyrdom. Loneliness worsened his condition to a great degree. Number 8. One of Van Gogh's most noted incidents involves his ear stunt. Though the actuality of how and why it happened is blurred, it is believed he mutilated his own earlobe with a razor after getting into an argument with a fellow artist comrade, Paul Gauguin. Some narrations of the story state he took his dismembered ear and offered it to a prostitute at a brothel he frequented. Number 9. Gauguin and Van Gogh met in 1887 Paris and later found lodgings in Arles, south of France, where they painted together, albeit having different styles and approaches. Just a day after the ear incident, Gauguin took off for Paris by train. Number 10. Along with him went their mutual dream of creating a studio in the South where a community of artists would flourish. Van Gogh's piece Self-Portrait with Bandaged Ear that he painted just 2 weeks following the unfortunate quarrel is seen as a send-off to those unfulfilled dreams. This year became the turning point for his downfall. This video has been powered by Maya Art Gallery YouTube channels. Make sure to subscribe now.